Today, we are 2D Adam and Steph.
Aww.
Because we filmed the entire video out of focus, lol.
This week we're going to be discussing a topic that's hotly debated in the art community, which is, are you using your sketchbook wrong? We thought this would be an interesting topic to tackle for our channel because, as you might know, we are both artists. We're also a couple, hence why we're Doodled it.
Yes.
But we do art in very sort of different approaches.
Oh god, yeah.
Especially when it comes to sketchbooks. And since this is such like a hotly debated thing, I thought it might be fun to sort of demonstrate how we both like use our sketchbooks differently. And we'll have like a discussion about topics that come up quite a lot in the art community.
We'll discuss why mine is the right way and yours is the wrong way. Because we do them very, very differently, as you'll see, and probably as you have seen in the past. But yeah, is there a right or wrong way? Are you doing it wrong? Or I think I'm doing pretty good.
There are a lot of accusatory
accusations. Wow.
Accusatory accusations out there of people saying the way you do your sketchbooks wrong, you make yours too pretty, yours is too messy. I don't even want to look at your sketchbooks.
Guys, if you have time to tell other people that they're doing their sketchbook wrong, you're doing it wrong.
Anyway, let's dive in and we'll first of all have a closer look at how Adam's mind works when he's using his sketchbook.
Okay, yeah, so the right way. Okay. Alright, let's do it the right way. Let's just do it in pencil and not worry about a thing. How does that sound? Ever since Steph taught me how to draw, it was always more of a don't be super precious about whatever it is that you're doing. Like when I was very first starting out, Steph was just like, there is no wrong way to draw. Just draw what you want, learn from references. Don't be in particular about like if it's finished, if it has lots of sprinkles on it and stuff. Ignore all of that. Just get what is in your brain or what you are practicing. Just get it down, and the best one is the one that's finished and you've like moved on from.
Yeah, I definitely think that an approach that helped me a lot with especially with sketchbooks, because when you first get them there's that whole phobia of like, wow, this is a perfectly bound little book, it looks beautiful, I don't want to ruin it with like my own handwriting or with scribbles, or what if I draw a wonky looking eye in there and then I've ruined the entire book and I don't want to show anyone it, and then I'll have to rip out all the pages. Like I see these things come up time and time again.
Do you rip out pages?
No, these are like issues that I see other people talk about quite a lot.
Never do that.
Everyone has like their own unique approaches to when it comes to sketchbooks, obviously.
All I'm learning so far is everyone's wrong.
Everyone
What are you doing? You can't tear them out. That's awful. What?
No, to be honest, there's no rules when it comes to like a sketchbook.
There is. Don't tear pages out. That's so wasteful.
Well, if you want to rip out pages and you've paid for it, then
you're an idiot.
Well, who am I to stop you? That's your sketchbook.
Well, you can do it, but I'll judge you.
Well, I won't judge you.
I won't. No. I don't know. I mean, I skip pages in sketchbooks, as you guys know, but I wouldn't tear it out. I'm saving that for later. That's like Steph calls it a bleed through page, but all I tend to do is like sketch in pencil, but that's my bleed through page.
But I've really got the mindset that as long as you've got something on that page, that is better than a blank page.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
so I think
like,
that's good.
Regardless of whether it's torn in half, eaten by a dog,
in by me,
smeared in feces.
Yeah, that's a little bit too far. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong.
I know, it's contemporary.
Keep the poo-poo away from the sketchbook. Oh, that's nasty.
Be as abstract as you want.
Look, if you're putting your sketchbook near your bum, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Well, people might be a bit more adverse to, like an in-person sketchbook tour.
I'd be adverse to it as well. I don't want to put nothing near my bum. Can
you talk us through some of the ways that you prefer to use your sketchbook, like what mediums, how you approach like an idea when you've got one?
Yeah. Step one, don't put it near your bum. Put it on like a nice flat surface. Put your bum on a flat surface. And it's weird because like, because I've been drawing like every day, you know, pretty much ever since we started Doodle Day, I tend to go in autopilot now. But a very good thing I think that you can do is to go into it with an idea of what you want to do. Because like sometimes I'll sit there and I don't know what to do. I often find that I spend a lot of free time looking for something to draw. If you can go in with an idea and you're inspired, I think that's always going to come out better, personally.
Yeah, I think having something like a Pinterest, that's a very
great.
sort of common thing that's very helpful.
Or if you can, like we've done in the past, go out and draw. You've got inspiration like everywhere.
Yeah, live
It's really,
reference,
really
that's
good.
always like the best stuff because it's unique to like that moment. There might be a person walking past wearing an outfit and they're never going to wear that outfit ever again in their entire life.
Might have someone drawing with poo in their sketchbook that you want to draw, because apparently this
you
is...
might want to avoid.
I'm not letting this go. Is this a common thing? Do people do that?
Well, there's always those kind of like artsy exhibits. There was that Lady Gaga music video where she had someone, I'm not going to say what she was doing, but it was gross.
Oh no.
Maybe I'm making it sound worse than it was.
Because like, there was on YouTube, wasn't there? There was that trend for a long time where people would draw with their feet. Did people like draw with their bums as well? Is that a thing?
No, there was a lady who used to eat like food colouring and then she'd like regurgitate
Oh.
on Lady Gaga in like a white dress.
Okay, that's just wrong. That's not like sketchbook wrong.
I'm pretty sure that was a real thing that
That's
happened.
just wrong.
But that wasn't a sketchbook, that was a dress.
It was Lady Gaga.
Completely different approach.
Okay, my opinion on that is that that's wrong too. There's a lot of things wrong. I'm glad we're setting stuff straight. There's a lot of stuff wrong that people are doing with sketchbooks.
I think two of the ways that we approach ideas very differently is whenever I sort of get like an idea, I keep like a very long list of ideas that I want to work
Yes, you
from.
do. Yeah, I've seen that before. That's a very good idea.
Yeah, and then I'll delete it off once I've like finally drawn it, so this list has got so long at this point.
I love that though, because that means you've got, going back to what I said about like when you want to draw something in your sketchbook and you're worried about making a mess or you're doing bad, if you've already got a massive list of stuff you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So when I go
That's, like,
to
perfect.
my sketchbook, I see like a blank page. That's one of my ways that I sort of overcome the phobia of it, because coming up with the idea is sometimes one of the scariest parts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
just choosing something to draw is half the battle, in my opinion.
That's it, and again, because like Steph's got a massive list, you're halfway there. If you've got an idea already, you're halfway there like straight away. I think that's great.
I think another place where sketchbooks can massively differ from artist to artist is art is such a broad like topic. There's like illustration, then there's like animation. Even within animation it gets more niche. You've got people who do like colour designing, you've got people who do storyboards, character design,
stop
background
motion.
design.
It's everywhere. So many things.
There's tons of different routes that you can go down with
Yeah,
art.
yeah, definitely.
And depending on like what it is that you're wanting to focus on, I feel like your sketchbook's going to reflect that very differently, because someone who does storyboarding, their sketchbook, it is going to be a lot more like loose and thumbnail-y.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's their
That's what they
entire
do.
like, job. That's what they do. That's their entire
That's their thing.
It would be wrong, so to say, if they sat there and rendered like entire like storyboards super beautifully to
With
the
their
point
bums.
where maybe not with the
That's
bums.
traumatizing. That's
But
gonna
if they
stay
took
with me.
like 2 hours on every single storyboard, then that goes against the purpose of being like a storyboard artist.
Yeah, if you're a storyboard artist that takes 2 hours to do one board, you ain't gonna get far.
I think another thing as well is like the medium that you end up working in makes a big difference, because for me personally, I really enjoy doing illustration, and my end goal with a sketchbook piece is normally just to make it like colourful, entertaining to look at,
It's just nice, happy, you know?
release the serotonin when I look at it.
Yeah, dopamine on a page.
Yeah, there's something
Yeah.
like that. That's all I'm going for. I usually don't have like an overarching goal in terms of like, this is going to be like a breakthrough in terms of I'm going to draw all the arm muscles until I finally figure out which arm muscle looks the best
Is the-
rendered in Posca.
Bicep or tricep? We'll film that this week.
Some people really thrive on that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah, yes.
you can tell when someone thrives on it because they're like really good at that specific
Like they're
thing.
anatomy pros, and that's something that I've always admired. People that can draw like animals or humans or whatever really well, I think that's great.
You have a lot more of like an interest in anatomy studies than what I do.
Yeah, that's why like we did the pose, well we still are, it's not gone, but like the pose book series thing, seeing someone's anatomy like posed in a very weird and obscure way, I think that's really interesting to me.
I feel like for me, I only sort of go into that stuff when I've got like a specific goal and I'm trying to do a picture and I'm thinking to myself, I need to figure out how to draw a character in like this pose, so let's explore like what those poses could look like. Whereas Adam, his idea of sort of like winding down and just having a good time is like finding a complicated looking pose and then just being like, okay, I'll just try and draw this for like half an hour to calm down or something. Its purpose isn't to be recorded or to be a YouTube video or to be like observed or talked about.
No.
That's just like his idea of fun, which to me personally sounds like a nightmare. Here we're just gonna quickly jump in and watch me draw something because we've just watched Adam's process and you'll...
The right way.
Yes, you definitely... well, because I'm doing mine in like an illustrative, full colour kind of way. I am the YouTube villain in this video, you are allowed to...
Putting colour on stuff, what's wrong with you?
Okay, my turn. I feel like already the aesthetic has changed.
What is all this?
We've got my school bus pencil case, which I'm loving. We have got my squashy man, who is here for moral support. And I've brought some post-it notes. And
I only brought a pencil, like just one.
And my sketchbook, I've already put down some washi tape.
Oh, okay, that's quite fancy.
I want to do something on top of here.
See, you're using the... She was going to use the pencil I picked.
Almost, but it felt wrong. Oh, a Crayola pencil. This sounds more exciting.
Didn't you get those for me?
Yeah, but you didn't use them.
I didn't even get a chance. But that like leads into like another really good point with doing sketchbook things is like go into it not applying pressure to yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Like God, if you think every page needs to be like an incredible like Da Vinci Van Gogh thing, you're gonna hate it and you'll never finish it.
I think that's where some of the anger towards people who have pretty sketchbooks comes from. Because when you're starting from zero, I understand completely, because like when I was first starting out, I used to see other people's sketchbooks on Instagram at the time and I'd be like, wow, that is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that people could actually draw like that. I thought that that would have to be a digital drawing with tons of iterations that's eventually like printed out, but these people were posting like videos of themselves just like going do-do-do-do-do-do, and then this picture was just like coming out perfectly and it was mind-blowing.
I think a lot of that though, I think that anger is like envy though, isn't it?
Probably, but I do think that every person has like their own strengths, and once you start focusing on like what those strengths are,
and you learn those by doing,
there'll be other people who are looking at you and they're probably thinking like, why can they draw hands so well? Or, oh, they draw nostrils so nicely. I wish I could draw nostrils.
Damn
like
girl,
that.
them nostrils. But it's only because they've practiced it. That might be their interest that they've found, and they draw it really well because they do so many. It could also be
their own unique insight into like the world. Like another difference between me and Adam.
What, nostrils?
Not nostrils.
That's someone's insight into the world.
I was gonna say, Adam, because he's colourblind.
Yes.
The way he interprets colours and the way that the environment like looks in terms of lighting and shade and stuff
is wrong.
It's not wrong. You just see it differently to me.
Yes, it's true. It is because there are colourblind people that watch the channel. It's not wrong. I'm only playing. It's not wrong. Everyone who's like colour, I don't know what the word is, colour typical.
Colour typical.
Hello. Like all of them.
Divergent.
Yeah. Even they see the world differently. No one's pair of eyes are the same as someone else's.
Another point that I felt like would be an interesting one to make is that the sketchbook that you're using makes a big difference as well, because if you've bought one that's pretty cheap and it's got thin paper in it, like this thing that I'm drawing on at the moment, it's post-it notes, so it's not necessarily made for markers or like anything too intense on it, which is ironic because this sketchbook actually is made for markers.
And you're not using it.
I like to mix things up a bit.
Covered it in tape.
But what I was going to say is that typically if someone's went out and they've bought like an expensive like watercolour sketchbook, they're probably not then going to fill it up with like biro doodles.
That's okay, yeah, that is true, yeah.
So I think the sketchbook that you buy is going to have like a big impact on the kind of artwork that goes inside it.
That's it, yeah. I mean, if you buy a watercolour one, chances are you're not buying it because you want to do marker drawings and stuff.
Although...
Well, you're the exception to the
I know,
rule.
because everyone approaches the same sort of thing different. Like I was just talking about digital art. For some people, they have to start off on paper before they work up to
That's
digital.
what I did. Yes,
and a lot of people's sketchbooks, there might be just like stick figure drawings of them trying to figure out what this composition of a painting's going to look like. Or the same with like an oil painting as well, because if your medium of choice is oil paint and you want to do something really beautiful, the odds are you're not going to be creating that finished piece in like a sketchbook. I don't particularly work with oil paints, but I know that most people who work with it tend to work on like canvas or something that can like hold the medium like a lot better than what a paper could. I think it totally makes sense for someone who's primarily an oil painter to think like, what's the point in spending all this time rendering something out in like a sketchbook when ultimately my goal is to get something, you know, hung up on like a wall. And
yeah, and the cool thing with oils is that you can layer them. Like they did like a special scan on the Mona Lisa and they saw that that was in layers and like her expression was different and the background was different. Yeah,
that you can sort of like rework.
You can like revise it and change it, yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Watercolour artists are probably like the opposite of that because it's very sort of, because it's very light washes that you do. It's very unforgiving when there's been like a mistake.
Me, the king of the ultimate light wash of watercolour, where it's like a tiny little bit of colour.
It's a good way of like layering like lights and shadows and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think the most important thing to really sort of get across is that if you sat there and you're worried that you were using like your sketchbook wrong,
I'm just sat here and worried. Is anyone else just sat here and worried?
In 2022, there's a lot of us doing.
I'm just constantly worried.
But if we just focus in on the sketchbooks.
It's a little bit of worry, a small bit. No, that's a lie though, because I don't care. You guys have probably seen from my sketchbook tours and stuff. I don't care. Like if I miss 2 pages, 10 pages, I'm just like, it's alright.
I think another really good example would be that time we had a video where we swapped art mediums.
Oh, you hated that. I had such a good time.
The art mediums that Adam would normally have a good time with and the art mediums that I would normally have a good time with.
Yeah.
Once those were like swapped, I don't think either of us were particularly thriving. You thrived more than I did.
I just made it do. Yeah.
I was sinking.
But like when in videos and stuff, for example, like when we do art and things, and we always start off in pencil, obviously. And sometimes I'll ink stuff. Steph tends to ink them almost all the time.
Yeah, I definitely prefer my work.
Basically, when we changed over and we did the art supply swap video, which you should watch by the way, it's a very good one. To me, I was just like, oh, this is like the second part of when we make an illustration in a video. I'm just inking it. This is fine. I've done this before. Whereas with Steph and pencils, her roughest work is in the pencil stage. So obviously everything probably to Steph was looking unfinished or scruffy.
I think that's why it's frustrating me so much, because I'm so used to pencil being like the start of an illustration and it's not particularly the part that I enjoy the most. For me, I also enjoy it when I get like the ink on because I really enjoy line art, and then especially the colour. I feel like things finally come to life with the colour.
Yeah, with you, yeah, definitely.
And being limited to just that. Whereas, like we were saying, some artists, you can give them those exact same art supplies and they're going to thrive, come back with like a completely beautiful or messy looking sketchbook, but even messy sketchbooks.
This is when the popo is on the sketchbook because they've given up.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out this video that's on screen.
Yes, do it.
Algorithm has picked this one for you, and we would love to hang out with you some more.
I'll know if you ain't watched it. I can see the stats, I'll know.
So we'll be waiting for you over on that video, and thanks for watching. Have a nice doodle date.
We'll see you next time for another doodle date.
Doodle date.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.